stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alright, well, Ken's not here today, so I'm gonna sit in the place of him, so I'll do the best I can. And he always thanks everybody, so I'd like to thank everybody also for at least coming. You too, Tom.
Okay.
I guess the first thing on our agenda is appointments. We don't have any scheduled. Alright, we'll move on to any public comments. Anything you want to say first, I guess?
Well, should we wait till that topic comes up? Or?
Yep.
It's coming right up.
Okay. Unfinished business, we don't have anything. It's going to be kind of a short meeting today, so I see.
Yep.
New business, highway safety grant, sobriety checkpoint, $1,872. One of Ken Wakefield, the chief of police annual grants for a year review approval.
Should I make a motion to approve it and then we'll discuss it?
Yeah.
I make a motion we approve the 1872 for the highway grant.
All right, I'll discuss it. It's up for discussion. Is that how I have to go?
You seconded it.
Yeah, I'll second it. And then, Steve, you want to ask a question on it?
You wanna?
I'll finish.
Well, it's just that, you know, first off, they have gotten a workaround, the court has gotten a workaround because it does violate the Fourth Amendment. And a sobriety checkpoint where they have to publish this in the paper so people know about it. It's really not a good use of money. They would be better off using roving patrols than doing a checkpoint that they have to advertise in the paper saying that on such and such a date, between such and such of hours, we're going to do this. Plus, the other point is, it's federal money, which the Fed doesn't have any money. So where is this money coming from? And as we would, are the numbers going up or are the numbers going down?
Well, as of 2010, the DWI arrest from holding this sobriety checkpoint was 31 DWI arrests. And 2011, it went to 37. So that raised, it went up six more arrests. And in 2012, it went down to 28 from 37. So that would be a difference of 9. So actually it made a big difference that year. What it will do this year, I'm not sure until we get to it.
But that's the point.
I have to say I understand what you're saying, because I'm not a big fan of these kinds of things also because of the amendment, right? But
is it actually making a difference?
Well,
that's the real question. Is it truly having an effect?
I think having the thought that it's having an effect, that it's keeping people that shouldn't be driving on the road off the road, the safety of the people of the town. I'd say any arrest would be better. I don't think not 1 or 100 is to judge it. I think any arrest is good. It could have saved someone's life. Now, do I believe that they should be right there constantly? No, probably not. I'm faulty amendment, right, myself, but I think it's a well-needed thing. I've noticed that today's society, a lot more people don't drive drinking as they used to.
And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not condoning that. I mean, people shouldn't be drinking and driving. But I'm just saying, is this a good use of funds? Is this the best way to try to deter people from drinking and driving?
I would say, I'd say any time you see a police officer, it's a deterrent if you're doing something wrong. If you're not doing something wrong, then there's nothing that should bother you. Is it a good thing for money to be used? And in this case, and I'm not sure myself, but I'm not sure if the state doesn't already have this money set aside for things like this, or the federal government. So I can't judge that where the money's coming from or why, is it a good thing to spend it? I'm grateful that we have it, so we're not spending it as much, I guess to say, but we're still spending it because it's coming out of your taxpayer money. But I think, I do think it's a good thing to have it. Whether I think it's always them telling you that it's out there, I guess it kind of voids the same purpose of catching you, but I think it's more just giving you education on drinking and driving, that they're going to be out there watching you, whether they're telling you they're there or not.
I disagree completely. I think if this grant is available, we should take advantage of it. Other communities do the same. Some probably don't. And it's too bad, because if you save one person's life by picking up somebody that didn't kill somebody down the road, it's well worth the money to me. As a parent, as a grandparent, I'm for this. And the first time they started doing it, I was for this. And I thought, if I were doing something wrong and I went through there, I would expect to get a ticket for whatever I was doing. I wouldn't be drinking because I don't drink, but I would expect to get a ticket if I was doing something wrong, and that's how I drive on the road. If I'm doing something wrong and somebody picks me up, I'm not going to say, well, this wasn't my fault, blah, blah, blah.
I'm not saying.
If I'm doing something wrong, good. Pick me up.
I'm not saying, I agree with the principle that people shouldn't be out drinking and driving, but is this the best use? Would patrol cars patrolling the town serve better than a checkpoint? Could this money be used to put a couple extra cruisers on the road and patrol the town instead of sitting in one location for 6 hours or whatever it is?
I don't think that would work as well, because when the checkpoint is in the evening, when people are 11 o'clock, whatever, at night, and people are coming home from places. And that's where you're going to catch more of them than if you're just sitting and patrolling around. You might not be in the right spot where something's going on.
I think they get more personal, interactive with a checkpoint too. As in, they get to walk up to you, your windows down, they get a little more closer to you so that they can have a little more of a better opinion if you're driving than just seeing you maybe hit the yellow line, which everybody does, and they might have a better than just pulling you over to check on you. They could actually, you're already pulled over, they have a little better opinion if you've been drinking. I think that is where it works. Because when they're pulling you over down the highway on a patrol, they've got to make a judgment. They can't just pull you over for the fun of it. There, you have to stop. It's a checkpoint, which means it's notified, you stop, and they have a little more of a, maybe a little more better chance to evaluate the situation better to see, and it's not so much just for DWI anymore, Steve. Who's to say that there's not somebody coming through with a big bomb coming through and they just happen to get lucky enough that they have to stop them and saw something suspicious. It can be anything.
Without a license. They picked up a couple of those last time.
No, but I agree with you. I don't think we would know if it's a good way of spending the federal money, because they're giving it to the town to do these things, whether that would be something, I think, that it would be more of a, is it making a difference? We need to see more statistics and more review of it.
And also the fact that if you've got a patrol car, you've got one, sometimes two officers in the patrol car, you have a lot of people down there. So if somebody, a real terrorist having to come through, they've got backup. Whereas two people out, that scares me. If I had a husband who was a police officer, I would really be worried at night when he's out patrolling. That, there's crazy people out there. I think just liable to shoot him like they did that guy in Cambridge. He's sitting in his cruiser.
I think we have a pretty good, I think we have a great force to make better judgment by seeing them. And as long as they're not harassing and they're letting the people just go through and they're making good evaluations, I probably don't have a big concern about it. But where the money comes from, I wouldn't know that, Steve. Is it a better place to spend it? Jerry?
Well, I'm just going to make a couple of points. I think that when the Fourth or Fifth Amendment rights, I mean, when they filed that petition with the Superior Court, I think that's the same thing as an officer getting a warrant. But I mean, there's really strict guidelines on that. They're only allowed to keep someone 5 or 10 seconds. If they don't want to participate, they're instructed to let them go. They have an intensified patrol at the same time as they're having that, because they have the Ospey Police, they have the Carroll County Sheriffs, they have the state police plus the local force, and what they do is they watch 153 because people might go up that way, and then Governor's Road around to Route 109, and they do have the sign positioned on Route 16 so that it's beyond the Governor's Road turn. So I mean, you can see it, before you get to Governor's Road. So if you see that it says roadblock and they have the lights, and I mean, it's a big production down there, and it, pretty well illuminated. So if they see that, they have the opportunity to take a left on Governor's Road and go right around it. But as far as I would be inclined to think that it's working if the numbers are going down and people they picked up, the statistics show that they're going down. And I think that the chief and the lieutenant look at this pretty carefully and pretty closely. And I think that, knowing them and their experience, I think if they could see a better way to handle this, I think they would. But this money may not be available to enhance the coverage that you have already. I mean, I think this is specific to that, to that checkpoint. So it's not that you could take, $1,800 or $2,000 or $2,500 and put it into, extra patrols to do the same thing. But I mean, I'm always concerned about 4th and 5th Amendment rights, but having been down there with them every year when they've done it and been there from the beginning, like at 9 o'clock or at the briefing and right on through the end of it, I mean, I got an idea that they're very, very cognizant about everybody's rights and privacy. And like I say, they say, when they're doing the briefing, if someone doesn't want to participate, just thank them and tell them have a nice day, and don't be confrontational.
I think it's inconvenience to locals either, being out on the highway. The locals are in our community. I think it's pretty much a highway organization kind of thing.
Well, I think it is too. And I mean,
last year, right?
I'm sorry, I did.
You filmed it
every year,
and I
yeah.
watched it, and that was really interesting.
Well, it is too, and I mean, it kind of goes beyond just picking up someone that's drunk or on drugs or maybe whatever else they happen to be doing. But a lot of people travel from Boston or Portsmouth or something, going up to Conway up north. Someone may be coming along, having a couple, get stopped out there, and they test a lot of people who have alcohol on their breath, but they don't reach the level where they are considered impaired, and of course they cut those people loose and let them go on their way. But I mean, the things that you can't really quantify is if someone's coming up through and they've had a couple beers or a couple drinks on the way up to here, and they're continuing up north someplace, maybe they're going to have a couple more on, beyond this point. Maybe that changed their pattern, and maybe it saved a problem later on down the road up in Conway, or maybe up, further up country, just by, giving a wake-up call and say, well, I got by with having a couple, but boy, that's it until I get stopped someplace. So I mean, I think that there's an awful lot of aspects of it that you really can't quantify, because you can't pick out a statistic of something that didn't happen. Someone up the line didn't get run over, didn't get killed, or some other misfortunate thing. But like I say, I think that the chief and the lieutenant look at it pretty closely. They work with the liquor commission, and I think every part of it, they're really adamant about not inconveniencing people, and just if they don't want to participate, just thank them very much. They give out notices, or not notices, but surveys that people can make out. They give out 100 and some odd or 200 surveys, I think it is. And I mean, I think they're really, good with the public.
Good. Yeah.
Let's say the federal highway grant comes from the federal government, so that's established already. The feds don't have any money, so we're using the money from China to combat this issue. The issue isn't if sobriety on the roads is good or bad. Obviously, it's bad. But have you seen? It has to go through the Superior Court, the actual application that Chief Wakefield has to fill out, and other police departments. It has to go through the Superior Court. Do you have that Supreme Court application, which actually has all the information in it that'll show you the breakdown of how the system actually works or doesn't work? Do you have that with you?
I do not.
No.
And I don't think that we do. That would be something Ken would have, correct?
Now, do you have, in the application that you have in front of you, does it show a long-term long-term numbers like prior 1990, etc.
What I have is from 2010,
Yeah.
is the only numbers that I see, Ed, and then we have what they do for a sobriety checkpoint when they're filling it, when they're asked, I'm assuming this is when they're asking you questions, and then you probably have to sign something after you get done filling that out. It's kind of a summary of why they're asking the questions and that kind of thing. And they also check, it looks to me like they're checking to make sure that the kids are in there, you know, being safe in the car and that kind of stuff too. So it's not just, I don't believe it's just a sobriety point. I think there's a lot more to it, but they probably just don't ask to, you know, make it, you know, that's what it's called as a sobriety point. But I'm sure they're looking for about everything. But I don't have any of that. I got a lot of the rules and regulations of it and the policies.
Were you ever offered any other possibilities of what other avenues can be used to stop the drunk driving? Or is this, every year we go through this same exact grant? Has anybody else brought to the selectmen any other?
No. Do you have any ideas?
No, I'm just trying to establish that I don't believe you have enough information to make your decision to pass this grant. If you don't know exactly where the money came from, exactly, you don't know all the stats, you were never given an alternate position on it, I'm kind of struggling with how you can vote on something when you don't have all the information.
Well, I guess, not to interrupt you, Tony, but this is something that's been happening not just this year, but it's been happening for several years, correct? Am I correct on that? This isn't the first year, it's been happening for a few years. So I don't think that we I don't think it's the lack of information, and I'll disagree with you a little bit, but I understand what you're trying to say, that we may ought to have a little more statistics, a little more something to accept this, but this is something that we've done for several years, and I would say that people are expecting it. Should we maybe put this, should this be something that are you thinking that this should be something that the people vote to accept? More?
I believe that the selectmen should be given all the information needed to making any decision. And from what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like you have it all. Just because we do it every year doesn't make it right or complete. And also you stated that now they're also checking for other things. Do you know, without looking at the paper, do you know what all those things are that they're looking for?
No, I just think as a police officer, as him making it, they're trained to look at everything. I don't think that they are told, this is what you should be looking for, this is it. I don't know, I'm not there, I'm not a police officer. What I'm saying is, as a police officer, if I was a police officer, I'd be looking for children in the back seat that doesn't look like the parents driving the front thing, and things, you know, other things that not just a sobriety thing. Like I said, I believe in the Fourth Amendment 100%. Do I think that this should be out there all the time? Probably not. Back in my prior days, I could probably said no right from the beginning, but I think it makes a difference. I see less of this problem on the highway, and I'm for that.
But you don't know why it's less, and that's what I think you're missing. And also, where does this stop? I mean, it used to be just a sobriety checkpoint to stop drunk driving, and now you're saying they're looking for other things, but you're not quite sure what they're looking for. Where does it stop? Now is it going to be, you have to...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they are looking. I'm saying as if I was a cop, there's a lot of other things that I would be inquisitive, my mind would be thinking about for the safety of you driving down the road, or if you had a grandson, you know, I'd be looking for things to make sure that nothing was out of place, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're doing anything, because I don't know.
Well, you just said that the paperwork said something.
Yeah, well, I was just reading, it gave a lot of policies, and it looks like it said something about check kids in safety belts. So I'm assuming, it says child passenger safety law, so I'm assuming that they're trying to tell people under 18 you're supposed to have motor vehicle restraints on, and if you're 5'5" and under, you're supposed to have restraints. So I'm sure they look for them, is what I was saying.
I noticed one important point in this area I've noticed since I moved here is that people always say this is the way we've always done it, and people are very unwilling to look at other avenues where, what about education? What about I'm going to say AAA, AA meetings and attacking alcohol in school and stuff like that. Well, why is this just the focus? And I struggle with that only because it is federal money, there is none, and I don't know if this is just perpetuating a yearly mechanism rather than trying to do what works. And again, I have to stipulate, it doesn't seem like you have all the information to make the decision. And you would not believe, if you believed in the Fourth Amendment 100%, you would not vote for this. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
I just want to say, we've got a list of things here that they do. They pick up for driving while intoxicated, illegal possession of alcohol, illegal possession, transportation of drugs, illegal transportation, open container, operation after revocation, other arrests, bench warrants, outstanding warrants, protective custody, and child restraint violations. So it's not just DWI. It's all of those things also. But I think what they concentrate on is the DWI for their reporting, so that we can get an idea of, what's going on with that.
But your thoughts don't take it, by all means.
Well, my issue with the list is I don't recall, I see that list getting longer. That it used to not be all of those items. Now, I know in statute it already says that an officer can issue a ticket and a summons if he already sees those issues. I understand that, but do you see how you start going to, once you break an amendment by surpassing its original intent, it seems to snowball and things keep getting added. And mark my word, but you will pass this, I know, today anyway. But next year, 10 years from now, I'll return to the spot, say the same thing, and we will see this list get bigger. And soon it's going to be things that you wouldn't imagine. So this is why there's an amendment. This is why you shouldn't be able to go past it. And it should be illegal search and seizure. I know they've added all these articulable suspicion and everything else in order to allow the police officer to stop you. And it is better than New Hampshire.
But why do they add these things? It's not because... No, but it's because the world's going crazy, man. If you ain't seen it already, you got to be watching it. It's going crazy, so you got to be prepared for that. Who's to say that there's not going to be some idiot that's running out the street, drops off a backpack on the front porch, and as you're leaving this afternoon, your leg comes off? Am I going to sit there and say, well, maybe we should have thought about it later?
Well, we can go into other amendments that are being attacked.
But you're right, you're well known.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll be anxious to watch this year, next year. I'll be anxious to watch it now that you brought that up.
On a positive note, it is better in New Hampshire. You do have better security of Fourth Amendment in New Hampshire than any other state. Other states, a police officer or a department can set up a sobriety checkpoint anytime, anywhere they want. But in New Hampshire, they have to jump through hoops, they have to go to the Supreme Court, the Superior Court, they have to get a warrant for that area that they're going to search. So there is better protection here than other states.
Yeah.
But this is supposed to be live free or die state.
Yeah, Virginia is one of the worst ones.
Yes.
When you're traveling south.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. Discussion is over. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
I have the original here, Charlie, that I fixed for you to sign. There's two tabs, one of them's kind of messed up here.
For Charlie, right?
Just for Charlie.
Okay. Let's see, OCRF expenditures. Looks like the PD vehicle, $452.50. This invoice is for the Suburban,
Suburban Accents is the company.
that's the name of the company? The Suburban Accents is the lettering package for the cruiser. So that's, we must just add some new signs on the side?
Yeah, actually, later on, I've got a purchase order for you to sign for the new cruiser because it's due to be in within the next week or so.
So this is for the
This
new
will be for
cruiser?
the lettering for the new cruiser. Right now, I believe it's the lettering. It's not putting the lettering on.
Okay, so this is buying the material. I was gonna say, it's not even, we don't even have the car, and we're paying for it?
Right.
All right, so we're buying the letters to put them on, do we put them on ourselves?
Last year, you hired somebody to do it. I'm assuming that's going to happen this year. I don't know if it'll be the same person or not.
Okay.
I didn't give you any balances in this capital reserve fund because you appropriated money for that this year,
Yeah.
28.8 and change. But of course, we haven't put that in yet. We won't do that until tax money begins to come in. So it'll really kind of get funded from the general fund until we have enough money.
Does this money come out of that 28.8 line?
Yes,
So
it does.
in that line, they knew we were buying the cruiser plus lettering.
Yes, and the cruiser, well, as you'll see, is I think about 23.5. So that adds up to just over 24,000, and we've got 28 weeks to work with, so.
So I have a motion to,
So moved.
and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is both of yours. Bottom, please.
I guess this would be. Next, correspondence, we have none scheduled. Public comment number 2. Go ahead.
I just like to point out that it's activities like this, and this isn't the only thing, that has cut traffic fatalities in half over the last 20 years. Because drunk driving is the leading cause of traffic fatalities, and it's part of a whole broad effort to reduce, and it has worked, because it has cut it in half. Second thing is that any officer, anytime you get stopped for speeding, they're going to see if you got an open warrant for you, whether it's a stolen car, et cetera, the things that are listed. They do that every time anyway. And as Ed suggested, in some states, I was listening to a thing where they have side glancing cameras that scan license plates, and they run the plates while the cops driving by. Seeing if the people passing them in the other direction are driving a stolen car, have a warrant out for them, or whatever. So, that's what they do. They're looking out to find people who should be picked up. So,
A load of
more
things.
information.
Anything, Steve? Ted? Jerry?
No, I'm good.
Is there anything you want to talk about? I mean, I don't have a problem talking. How you doing now? We, nothing that you'd like to think about? I did get a thing from from Tom. Somebody put this in my box that was telling us that, I think this Tom wrote this in his Granite State News, Selectmen urged to look at the future of the water precinct system, and it was a great article he wrote. I'm assuming that you wrote this. Ed?
No, I just wanted to know, is there an update on all the wipes that are being found in the pumps, the septic?
Not at the moment. I haven't heard either. I think they've got it under control, because I think it went a little more public, so somebody might have taken a look, because it's been less, if I'm not mistaken. I think right now they're doing a little figuring out on picking and cleaning out one of the lagoons right now, so, but I haven't heard anything since that day. Ed, you were there with us.
I talked to Mike on Saturday, nothing.
Mike
Yeah.
said
Yeah, he said that since they brought it up and it kind of got out into the open where they were looking, it has brought the level of it down quite a lot. So I'd like to think it just brings it down completely, but it's like anything. I'm sure you're not going to completely solve it. But
well, Mike Susi is doing a good job.
yes, he is.
So it was I didn't even know he lived. I didn't even know he was
I
out
know.
there. I thought he lived up that road.
Yeah. No, I think that was a great thing, and I was glad that you did stay and do that. That was a great.
It was.
I never knew.
I learned a lot.
And I also wanted to mention about Wakefield. I also am from Wakefield, and at the Wakefield Selectmen's meetings, I think we all agreed that our town should work together on common things, especially the dump.
Yep.
So if there's any information you need to
To bring
be
above.
brought up at their meetings, like the recycling issue or something.
Well, I think that one thing I did want to note is that, you know, we need to, even like myself, we need to recycle a little more so that our dump is not taking such a hit. Just getting people to maybe check their bags a little more thoroughly, because, you know, they can't check everything and they are finding an awful lot. Our statistics is what they're saying is there's about 30% of us that are really recycling. The other 70% are still throwing stuff in the bags that we can, and I think you heard that. So if we could, we're at about 160 or something $1,000 a year and putting out money, and at 30%, if we could get 60%, then we might be able to get down to 100,000. That'd be quite a savings if people could just be a little more conscious. Including myself, I am one that doesn't recycle very much, and I should a lot, but I don't even use the dump. I have a.
Well, I thought you were gonna say that you put recyclables in the trash. That's what-
No, I do the big dumpster thing, and it's only because I am in a business that I have a lot more heavier material. I don't have very much of the bottles and things, so.
Correct.
But every little bit counts. We all should do our part.
$100 a ton.
Yep.
And Brookfield is gonna start soon selling the dump stickers. That's gonna happen soon.
For our dump?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I would have thought.
They've always done that.
They've always done that.
They've always done that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Town
we get,
clerk sells them, yeah.
Yep. It used to be a different color than.
They are, I still think they are, yeah.
Okay, I guess it's liaison reports. What you got, Connie, anything?
No, there have been no meetings.
Okay. I have an update on the CLH and Sons Company that bidded on the North Wakefield Bridge. Their bid was $161,000. It went up $10,000, and I had asked why don't we compromise, and they came back and said that they would they see that they could do it for that difference, and they met us halfway. So we saved roughly $5,000 or so, half of what they intended, so they gave us the break. So that was good.
Good job.
Yeah. So we saved that. So that's going to be done for a cost of $156,657.40.
Is that a motion?
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll second it. Any more discussion?
I think you ought to read where it said that we were good guys to work with or something.
Okay.
Somewhere there.
I'll read what the message from the company said that I went through my estimate and I can do it for half the change. I will split the difference. There has been quite a few increases, but we can manage with this. You guys have been a good customer with the multiple projects, and we would like to keep it that way. Look forward to working with you all. That was nice. So we did save a little bit of money, and I think that was good of them to meet us halfway. Police department. The burglary suspects were caught in last week in Wakefield. They were doing metal scrapping and burglary at the same time. No many burglaries are occurring during the daytime. Please call if any suspicious or anything that you might find suspicious in your area. Please call the police department. 522-3232. Animal Control is conducting a monthly cat clinic this month at the Public Safety Building. Animal Control will also have rabies clinic on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12. Also, dog licenses are due on April 30th. Please get your shots and registrations as needed. ACO does enforce the unlicensed dogs. Drug prescription take-back program this Saturday at between 10 and 2 p.m. It is the easiest way to get rid of old prescriptions. Please call Scott at the PD and sign up for the firearm safety and women's self-defense classes. I believe they are the 8th, 9th, and the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. But it's right there amongst those 3 or 4 dates there. So please call Scott down at the police station and he can sign up anybody that's interested. Boating safety and hunter safety programs are on the menu for program sign-ups online with the state. These things you need to get, hunting and it's boating season coming right up, so everybody wants to get on that before it's too late. The speed and DWI summertime patrols are going on. If you haven't noticed, the speedometer, the speed machine is on the side of the road a lot, so that's counting how many people are speeding by there. So note that the more you speed, the more you'll see them. Note, spring is here, so please make sure your house is numbered. 911 numbers. Unmarked houses slow down response times. I do know that we have a lot of houses that don't have the numbers out, so we need to put them numbers out for everybody. Another note is if you're involved in an auto accident, they just want to remind you to please, with damage, please report to police immediately.
Do they have a time limit as far as insurance is concerned?
I would say you only have probably 10 days or less, or 5 days if I was to guess, to report, at least to report it. Then I imagine it's a 30-day process to get it all, to get a police report and all that stuff. But I think it's 5 days if I was to make a judgment call on that. The highway department, they've taken off all the plows, so they feel that there's no more plow season, which we could all be surprised. We know this is New England. They've been washing the trucks and oil changes and all that stuff. They started sweeping the sidewalks, cleaning the basins, doing the schools and stuff like that, resource center and stuff, like that. They're getting ready to start grading Oak Hill, Pond Road, Old Stage, and the Marsh Roads. They will continue sweeping and all that the rest of this week, and they're taking the plow off Chuck's truck, which is the one that's had the most damage, and that's getting ready to go to Donovan's for framework to get that fixed. The other thing was we asked Freddie to put out the winter sand hauling out for bid, and Fred did so. I thought I just had something from that. Did we get anything from that?
You're probably gonna give them to you, they're all in here.
Do we do this now, or is this something that we...
That's up to you, we can do now, I did,
I guess I won't put an answer out, because we'll wait for Ken to see what he wants to do.
well, I want to, yeah, Fred would still like to haul it himself. He's got somebody he'd like to get it from, who is the lowest price, and he thinks it's best for the town to haul it, that it's good fill-in work, that they wouldn't be going out there and hauling, for 2 straight weeks, ignoring other work. If there's other work to be done, they'd be doing it, but it provides good fill-in work for when it's rainy days or whatever.
Okay.
That's his opinion, and I said that, the board might want him to come and speak to that.
I don't have a problem with that. I think what I would like to see from him is this week he gives us a breakdown on what it would cost him to do it and what it would cost for Turcotte or whoever might be involved in the bidding process to break it down so that we can see what the comparison is, because I think Ken's going to want to see that. And Lee's not here. This is kind of one thing he was more involved, so we'll table that and let him be here. Ask Freddie to come to the next one.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yep.
Yeah. While you're kind of on that subject, now that the election's gone over and there's been some change on actually both of the boards, where do we stand on the town and the school were discussing about possibilities of doing a joint venture with the mechanic, the newly hired mechanic down there? Where was anybody?
Well, where does the school stand with it? Because I haven't heard it brought up lately, and it hasn't been discussed at any of our selectmen's meetings, so I'm not quite sure. I think we were supposed to bring this back up in July, the middle of the season.
I thought it was...
It was a trial, take it easy, do a trial run, but of course it was Peter and Janet who were basically
Yeah.
involved, although I know you went over to Wolfboro.
Well, I was part of it, yeah.
Yeah, you were part of
So
it.
where do you stand? I mean, we got a little bit, I mean, we can talk about it for a minute if you like.
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth, because at the very end, prior to the election, everything changed. And it went from the previous selectmen stating that the school was gonna buy all the equipment. And this was like maybe 2 weeks before the election. So with that change, that's where it kind of died right there. So that's why I just thought, I don't know whether there's any more interest in it, or what the town's thinking, I mean, I would have to bring it back up to the, you know, the school board to see what, because we have new members on there also, what their thoughts of it. But we were progressively gonna try to do a pilot program type thing. But then, like I said, right at the very end, it all of a sudden changed that as far as the equipment goes. And
I think there's an awful lot of work that's involved in that. And I think that if we're going to think about it, then we need to really, we need to spend some time thinking about it. I don't think it's anything that I would decide today.
oh no, that's not
I
what I'm
understand
asking.
that. And where you haven't discussed it at your meeting, maybe that's something that you should be bringing up and.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get, I guess, is to see if there's any interest from the town's side of it. So if there is, then I can bring it up over, you know, over at the school.
Well, I'll speak for myself. I spoke right at the beginning, I wasn't a fan of it. I think that, I did say that if it was anything that I would be a fan for, it is courtesy mechanic, which means if Al down there has time to do something and you guys need the oil change, you need lights changed, or a tire fixed, or a battery dead and charged up, I'm all about helping you. But am I a fan of taking the whole thing over? No, I'm not. I think that that's a lot of liability, and I think someone not more certified, but coming from a certified dealership that takes all that responsibility for the safety of the kids, that's where I've stood right from the beginning. But no, I think that we surely could help. If we had downtime and you guys needed something, there's no reason we can't fix our own buses.
It comes out of the same bucket.
Comes out of the same bucket.
Even though we have separate budgets,
But I
it
don't
still
think-
comes out of the same
Right. I just
bucket.
don't think that we should be involving ourselves in something that's in safety. If it's changing the oil and fixing some lights and doing proper maintenance, I don't have a problem discussing that. I think that's kind of a courtesy thing, but do I think we should have a department, that's a mechanic, have their own thing? I think we're biting off a little more than we can chew at the moment. Or if you've got a lot of participants, you got a lot of people involved, I'm willing to listen 100%.
Winter time, I think, is where we'd have the problem, depending on, you know, how much snow we get and whatever. I think it would be a real taxation on our highway crew.
So you're saying that it might be a little more than we should take on,
Right,
basically.
especially because of winter time.
Yep.
If this were Florida and the weather was the same all the time, that would be a different story, but winter is really, I mean, it taxes our highway crew as it is. If we get a lot of snow and they're out all night, you know, that's really a rough job,
I agree.
so.
Jerry?
I just listened to the conversation going back and forth. I guess I would probably assume that Steve is here negotiating this with the Board of Selectmen as a private citizen, not a school board member, so, or chairman of the board or anything. We have a lot of problems with board members going and doing things without consent of the board, so I think it's important to point out
I don't
that
think
he's
I don't think he has
representing
any
his
question
own
that
private
would
opinion.
have required an answer from him. I think he was just bringing it up to see what
Yeah,
happens.
exactly.
I think we ought to meet, I really think.
I don't have a
We ought
problem
to
with that.
meet with the school board and discuss the different things about it, because
Well-
I wasn't involved in that, and I'd like to know more
Right,
about it.
well, we did have a committee. You know, the police chief, the fire chief, there was me, Judy, transportation coordinator for the school, the business administrator. We did have a whole regular committee that was meeting.
Was there anybody from the selectmen?
Peter
Oh.
was there for the select.
Yeah, it was a good thing, and it's, like I said, it's definitely something that we can all look into.
I mean, I don't know if you'd be interested in, doing that, or whether you're suggesting, Connie, maybe the selectmen meet with the school board type, I don't know what you...
I would like to do that.
I don't have a problem.
To have the
I don't
selectmen...
want to jump into anything, everything has to be considered.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I'd like to meet with the school board and the business, the transportation coordinator.
And I think it would be good.
So do you want, would you like, should we set it up as with that committee that we had established, or do you want to have it like the board of selectmen with the school board?
Well, would be taking Judy's place on that committee? Have you?
Yes, we already took care of
You
that.
already
Yes.
did?
Whichever, I mean, I can bring back whatever to the school board and see what
Why
they...
can't it just be all of them? You guys make a decision, just call Tony and just put yourself on the agenda one night, the next month or so, a couple months, like I said, it's school's getting out, so we don't really have to run with it. We were gonna hold down.
No,
just
I'm
baby
just
step.
trying to get, see if there was...
So just see if you can
It
set it up.
kind of like died right at the election, and
Yeah.
I was just curious whether we were gonna move forward with it or not, or whatever, that's all.
That would be up
And
to you
yes,
guys.
as always, I'm speaking as myself. I'm not, this isn't a school board, so I'm not a school board member at this particular
That's fine.
time.
If you
And
want.
there again, I think the school board could probably get together and contact the selectmen and propose it to them. That way it doesn't look like one person is like going between the school board and
Yep,
the
that would
select
be-
board, making deals and making commitments for the school board. Maybe something that the school board as a whole would make a decision to sit down with the selectmen and discuss it.
Well, that'd be something that you,
I'm not here making any deals.
Well, no, you're not, but you're gonna go back and report to the school board what you found out from the selectmen, so that's kinda gonna make you like, I don't know, liaison or something. Maybe you already are the liaison, but we have
Yeah,
a lot of problems
I
in this
am on
town
the
with-
transportation committee for the
no,
school.
that's fine. If you wanna you guys wanna get on the agenda, have the.
So you're asking to have the school board get on the selectmen's agenda?
Fine, to discuss it when they're ready to do
Is
it.
that what you want to do?
Yep.
Alright, I'll bring that back, and that'll be up to the school board to decide.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay,
I forgot about the planning board meeting last Thursday. I just want to say, nothing was said in the meeting, and I would just like to make it publicly known that Michelle is leaving as secretary, and that was her last meeting. And I would like to thank her. She's done a wonderful job with that. I mean, they've had all kinds of problems here, there, and everywhere with that, and she just took it right on, and she got everything the way it was supposed to be. And I'm disappointed in myself that I did not recognize her that night. And I would like to have it on the record that we're very grateful to Michelle.
Yes,
She's
we
done a
are.
wonderful job.
she has done a good job, and I think she's a hard girl to replace.
Yes.
But she's not going anywhere.
That's right.
She's just going upstairs to help some other department. All right, administrator update?
Well, I'm not your administrator, but
Close enough.
I do have a purchase order for you to sign for the new cruiser. It was approved in the budget. It does include a trade-in of the old vehicle, which they were going to ask to just drive down to Lampert's and junk rather than even put out to bid, because that's all it's good for. And this way, if they're taking it as a trade-in, reduce the cost of the cruiser, we don't have to haul it anywhere.
Yep.
All right, seems to be a
We're fine on
win-win.
that.
You can move it. I don't know that you need to because it was as approved in the budget.
You can just move it, just to make
So
it.
where's the signature?
Right in the front, Connie, I'm sorry, right down on the side.
Okay.
So do we have a motion to accept the $23,563.88 for the purchase of a new cruiser?
So,
And we're getting $300 off, they're thinking for the recycle of it at the scrapyard.
what's a good choice of words? Recycle.
So I'll second that, any more discussion? All in favor?
I
Aye. Whatever.
I should mention, the work being done in the, that parking lot. I guess somebody, the fire department maybe found a sinkhole over the weekend. Fred is, they've actually been replacing that culvert for about 3 days. Freddie said it was a clay culvert.
Oh, yeah.
They had to go a long
Yeah.
way to find any good clay that actually put it near a fire department connection, which wouldn't fit into, and pardon my ignorance, I'm just repeating words here, it would not fit into the plastic type of culvert. So they did use a 2-foot galvanized culvert, which will be good because with the work that Gaffney is doing on their drainage issues, they plan to connect into that, so.
Are they up to tearing up the new town? Is it in the driveway or out?
It's in the driveway. Yeah, actually, I think they just about finished it up today. I think the only thing left will be actually coal patching it.
Yeah, I saw him
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
We have money for that?
Good.
We're
Gonna do it?
gonna do it?
That'll be done.
Okay.
The culvert Freddie had.
Oh, you had to go over?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, our guys did it all. So I don't know.
What's up with the, have we done, is it the lagoons again? I mean, I've heard this out on the street, there's lagoons and lagoons, correct?
Yeah, isn't that Lineham will do, is that what Lineham's doing, I believe? He'll do that. No? Something else?
I thought thought the town was gonna, or somebody, we need to haul the stuff out, I don't think that's.
Oh, that's not the Lineham thing, that's probably the land spreading that. I actually don't have any knowledge of that. I don't know.
Me either, but that's all I've heard for this week, is that that's being done.
Well, it is something that occasionally has to get done, you know, and he does do the land spreading.
I'm just wondering,
But I don't
that's.
know.
Okay,
I don't know.
we'll leave it up. Leave it up. Building permit releases?
I do have one.
Do we read this out? Is this something that you
Usually it
can?
does, doesn't it?
Usually we say who it is and on what road.
It's Ronald E. Nestor, 114 Elm Street, Wakefield, New Hampshire. I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, that's yours.
Yeah, sure.
Payment manifests.
I have several of them.
These here.
Yeah. One is the payroll from last week, one is the voided check, and then the other is the accounts payable.
Okay, treasurer's payroll for $60,372.03.
I believe that's a payroll.
That's the payroll. Motion to accept.
So,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Treasurer's warrant. This is for $2,468.92. This must be voided check.
That's the void, yes. That was a check that was actually cut last, I believe, October. It's to a tax service. It was for reimbursement of overpaid taxes. They just never got it. We've got it on the outstanding list, so we're reissuing the check. We have not issued a stop payment on it, because that usually costs us money.
So where's the other
It is to a
check?
tax and it lost in the mail.
So
And it
should,
should be a stale check by now, too. CoreLogic is a pretty big tax service firm. I firmly believe that if for some reason that check were to clear, we would have no problem getting the issue straightened out with them.
but could it be cashed by these people at this
At the tax service,
tax service?
I suppose that they could cash it, and then we're gonna say, whoa, we did you a favor, you know, we give you a new check, what are you doing to us?
Okay, so, motion to accept this?
Yeah,
Second? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
How much does it cost for us
I'd
to?
have to check, I don't
I
know.
think
I would be
it's
happy to
$20.
check. We
$20
talked about that before, and we kind of waived
Yeah.
not passing that on to a resident before,
Right.
realized this isn't a resident. So however you'd like to proceed on that, I would be happy to do that.
Okay, with it, just gave it,
Yes.
that I signed.
You got a treasurer's warrant, monthly bills, $54,900. $943.27. Everyday thing I wanted to look at. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second? Motion on the table to accept, just to repeat the number, $54,943.27. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I should also mention that the fire department is going to be helping the Centerville Water Precinct do their flushing next week,
Wow. Right, okay, yep.
which should make it so that we can then do a flow test.
Yep.
So we can proceed with the whole.
So the fire department's gonna volunteer?
Yes, they
now?
are.
That's good.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if I shouldn't say anything, I'm not sure how that goes, so I won't mention names, I guess, but I was just concerned if we were done with the, in-court cases.
And that I will have no knowledge of that.
I guess that's just the town clerk stuff we do every month.
Yes, it is.
So that ain't done. Board minutes, April 4th minutes. These look like the non-public minutes.
You had it, well, you were mostly non-public. I always start you in public and then you go into non-public.
There ain't really nothing there, so
No.
motion to approve them, I guess.
Yep, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I read over all of them and I didn't see any problem.
Even the full ones you don't accept them too?
Yep.
Okay, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. So.
See. Oh, these are the new elected people for the rec department. Sherry Hatch. So Paul moved, let's see, 3 years. This is for accepting the appointment for Sarah Hayes as 3.
Yeah, you did that at the last.
We did that, so we're all set with that. Do we have to make a motion for that, or?
No, you're saying, it's really just the last page of the minutes, Charlie.
Okay.
It looks like you've got a different form there, it's not.
Well, that was a short meeting. I don't have a problem having a few minutes of discussion if anybody wants to just shoot the breeze.
Okay, you both want to.
Any concerns or anything? I like the idea that you get something to say.
There's the originals.
Ed?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to commend the officer from Wakefield that showed up at the burglary.
Not sure what the burglary was.
The burglary that the police were involved in, it was
Reported on earlier about guys stealing
Yes.
scrap metal as well as doing burglaries.
the burglary that was the stove that was taken out of the person's vacation home in
I
Wakefield.
didn't know that.
Well, you just reported on
You
it.
put it, yeah, for that Ken had some on the burglary for scrapping, they were scrapping metal at
So
the
I
same
wanted to
time.
commend the female officer, I believe her name is Noreen, the new female officer.
Briggs, is that, do we have her yet?
No.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
she was the one that showed up on
That's good.
the scene, and it was courageous of her to go out there and handcuff them and hold them until backup came, and it worked out fine.
Good. So that was in Brookfield that he was discussing.
Correct.
That the thing, that's good that they got a hold of, was it a bunch of people, or did they just control it?
It was
two people
two
and it's
kids.
all up?
Two 24-year-olds around there went into the house, tried to get out. My selectman, Rich Zacher, noticed that they were down there and then pulled his pickup truck, blocked the road,
No kidding.
and then walked away.
Awesome.
They came up to try to get out. And he's like, they're like, oh, you gotta let us out. And he's like, oh, you talk to the police. And he walked home. Took the police maybe 5 minutes to get there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to commend that response.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
That have been Melanie that handled that? Melanie Locke? Would
She might be Melanie.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah, she's a really excellent officer.
I'm just kind of curious, I've never seen him here.
I am the new Foster's reporter.
Oh,
Welcome to Wakefield.
Oh, thank you.
that's nice to have you here. Tom, we got a little competition.
Yeah, that's right. Oh,
Tom is the independent reporter.
Your name was
Michaela Reynolds.
Michaela Reynolds.
I think there's a title for you.
From Fox.
Your editor, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Super,
Yes.
superhero?
Yeah,
No, that's great. Usually meetings are at 7, and that's why you don't really see very many. We didn't have a very big agenda, so we're trying to save the taxpayer a little money and let Tony stay home tonight.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
that's all right.
But anything else you got any questions for us?
How long have you had the sobriety checkpoint in place?
I would say several years. I'm not sure the amount of years.
Or
I think I started recording it in either 2009 or 2010, because we had to advertise it on the PEG channel prior to. And Chief Wakefield invited us down to the police station to record the briefing that he gives all the officers, where he explains all the details, and then he also invited us to come out to the actual checkpoint. I think one year, Tom, you sent Damon out there one year.
Yeah, they went out, yeah.
He covered it through paper, so.
Anything you'd like to? Nothing. We're in that good of shape, huh?
Well, we're in town.
Well, I guess, go ahead, Ed.
Just something. There's supposed to be a group. It's a group that, I know one of the directors of the group is Van Jones, which used to be President Obama's job czar, who resigned because of the pressure that he got from the public for being involved with the Communist Party. And I was wondering, they're going to be here on Saturday, that group. They're going to be upstairs. I'm just wondering if you knew anything about it and
No, I
if you're
think,
going to attend.
yeah, I just heard about it just the other day.
Oh, the Awakening.
It's called the Awakening the Dream.
We're Awakening the Dream. Yeah, there's a program. It's sponsored by the Wakefield Projects and the First Congregational Church.
Do you know anything about it?
So on Saturday, it's sort of a concept about getting people involved with their communities. And it's a combination of video and stuff. I've been asked to come, Ed Morrison asked me to come and cover it, and I'm going to do it. It's from 12:45 to 4.
12:45 on Saturday.
On Saturday,
12:45 to 4 o'clock in the Opera House.
In the Opera House, yeah.
When I saw that advertised, I noticed you had to go to their website in order to pre-register, and they had, they said they had 200 openings available. Last time I checked, they still had 194 openings, but I was kind of curious. I don't know if we've ever really, has anybody ever really determined what the capacity is of the Opera House up there? If it's, I haven't been able to find out if there's a number as to.
knows.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry?
don't think,
Usually posted.
Well, I asked him, but he didn't. He said maybe the fire chief would know, and I asked Teresa, and she said she didn't know, but she thought that the fire chief would know, because I know that,
I don't know.
was it last year or 2 years ago when the, was it the state fire marshal that came in and they did a, they kind of looked it over to see what it would be, safe to have for
Yeah.
people up there, but I've never seen that report that the
probably
fire
not
marshal.
200.
We've never gotten it. They were viewing the facility for more than just
Public
capacity.
facilities.
And we've never gotten a report.
Right, but I was kind of curious about that, because I know
Well,
when we do the.
maybe that's something that we probably should know. Do you think, Tony? I think we should probably have an
We
idea.
can't determine that, and.
How do we
and
do
for-
that?
for-
Usually
this-
fire people.
This thing for the fire marshal was years ago now, and
Yeah.
for a while, we kept kind of harassing, where's the report, it just, I kind of.
So would you send Todd an email and ask him that to give us an idea, just due to the fact that we could have 200 people upstairs?
Well, I was just kind of curious, because I know that when we have the elections, we have the national elections, we always have them at the school, and, you know, I mean, because there's so many people coming in, and I think that.
Well, I
you know,
think
if you-
that's more of a random thing, if you have people sitting at that.
Well, that's true too, but the problem is your handicap accessibility is the elevator through the connector.
Yeah.
And I think when a building's, go ahead, Tom, why don't you?
Well, no, I think it's supposed to be, it's a fire issue. I mean, it came out of the Coke Cabana fire, and that was back in the
So that's a good
30s.
point, Jerry.
You're supposed to know the capacity and know your things, not that they did in Providence, but you know, there is supposed to be a posted capacity.
But anyway, my point, the handicap accessibility is the elevator and the connector, and I'm not sure how it works in this building or this town, but every hotel or anything I've been in, they say if you have a fire, don't use the elevator.
Right.
So I think that if we had a situation where we had something going on with a fire or something up there and they shut down the elevator, that would go your handicapped accessibility. So I mean, there are a couple of questions about it, and I think that we're all trying to get that fixed up and get it, you know, restored. And I think that as long as we keep using it and using it, we're never gonna, you know, take the steps to restore it to the way it should be.
Yep, okay.
My last comment would be that if anybody wants to learn about what the group promotes, and if people have never heard of terms like the rights of nature, which is a promotion of the idea to create a legal framework to give constitutional rights to nature. So if you'd like to learn more about that, I would come on Saturday and
Well, I guess if corporations can be individuals, then why can't they use their constitutional right? It's just as
Are you
ridiculous.
going? Yep.
oh yes, I'm going.
Again, no plans, all very sad.
Go ahead. Nothing?
I'm good.
I'm reporting, not having nothing for us to answer?
I think you guys talked a lot about the expired checkpoint, so.
Good. Tom?
No?
I guess, you wanna make a motion to,
will.
send us home?
Yeah.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for coming.